beautiful day. Today is Monday, the 8th day in the month of April 2024, and I hope you're really fine. You enjoyed your weekend last time. Well, the program is called Press Roundtable. Press Roundtable is a convergence of media practitioners who dissect news and current affairs to provide the right balance. On today's Press Roundtable, we are going to look at stories coming from Imo State, a hotelier in custody for allegedly torturing man to death. We're also going to look at the stories coming from Edo State. Obaseki appoints 38-year-old engineer as new deputy governor. And from FCT, police nabbed notorious armed robbery kingpin 4 gang members terrorizing Abuja. Eid al-Fitr celebration, NSDC deploys over 40,000 personnel nationwide. These are the stories we are going to look into after this short break, and I'm going to introduce the guests we have for tonight. Just stay tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. On 18.
Thank you very much for joining us again. This is Press Roundtable on Atlantic Television. And this beautiful evening, I have a wonderful media practitioner. He's a news editor. He's a known face on this show, and his name is no other person than Mr. George Kingsley Papamie. Good to have you, sir.
Yeah, well done.
It's always a pleasure to have you on my show. All right, my name is Angel Nkoma. I'm popularly called Angelic Angel. First of all, coming from Imo State, we want to look at how a hotelier in custody for allegedly torturing a man to death. The operatives of Imo State Police Command have arrested the 38-year-old owner of a guest hotel, Ibe Obasi, located in the Obo local government area of the state for allegedly torturing to death a youth in the area, Ebuka Udemba. A statement issued by the command's spokesperson, Henry Okoye, on Sunday stated that the incident happened on Saturday. Okoye disclosed that the suspect had been arrested and transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department. He said operatives of the Obo Divisional Headquarters have arrested the owner of a guest house, Lo Obo, Mr. Ibe Obasi, age 38. Who was allegedly involved in the murder of a 25-year-old Ebuka Udemba, an indigene of Umokba in the Obo local government area of Imo State. Preliminary investigations reveal that the victim was tortured and locked up inside the generator room of the said guest house by the suspect and 2 others at large, where he suffocated to death on the accusation of stealing a customer's handset. Accordingly, the suspect has been transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department for consolidation of the ongoing investigation. He has provided useful information that will assist the determined operatives in arresting all the suspects in connection with the case. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, Imo State Command, CP Aboki Danjuma, has tasked the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of the SCID to carry out a comprehensive investigation to ascertain the remote circumstances surrounding the death of the victim and ensure that all the suspects involved are arrested and made to face the full wrath of the law. Now, while commiserating with the families, friends, and relatives of the victim, the Commissioner of Police strongly condemns the cruel act and calls on the people of Obowo, a local government area of Imo State, particularly the residents of Umolowo, to refrain from taking the law into their hands, as the command is on top of the situation and has commenced a thorough investigation to apprehend the suspect linked to the case of murder and bring them to book. Okay, this is just the stories, okay, going on right now in Obowo local government area of Imo State.
Yes.
And it happened in a guest house where the victim, the disease now, said to have stolen the handset of a man and taking laws into their hand. I think the necessary thing was to call the security agencies, hand them over to the police, and instead of putting him in a generator set and then he suffocated to death. Now this is happening right now in Imo State. That's the news this evening. What can you say? This is a 38-year-old man. And, you know, coincidentally, we're also going to look at what happened to another 38-year-old man in Edo State after this one. So what can you say? Is it not cruel? This is inhuman treatment.
Of course.
Yes, because I don't think death is a penalty for stealing a handset.
No. That is why.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is why the law gives us the opportunity for you to defend yourself, for you to express yourself, for you to say what you feel, you know, is your stand. Because you have to take a decision, either to accept or to condemn what they're saying. And I think what the police is doing right now is that they're investigating, isn't it? This is the very investigation that the employer, we're talking about the employer. The employer should be, the employer should see himself as an employer rather than a dictator, right? Because an employer is that the person is working for you, and as the person is working for you, you are also ensuring that you meet up with your obligations, and the obligation is that whatever the staff will need for the job, you will provide it, and the staff or the employee will also have to fulfill his or her own side in ensuring that there is a balance. Now, what we are saying here right now is that it's an inhuman treatment, in the sense that the universal law, the universal declaration of human rights, do not allow such maltreatment, because ordinarily it's against the international labor law. Right? It's against international, because it's purely a labor matter. A labor matter where a relationship is existing between an employee and employer. So that is what is going to guide them. Of course, an employer will not go to the extent of taking the life of his worker, and it's purely it's like an abuse, you know, abuse of power. All right, if the staff has done something wrong, first of all, if you cannot just see him and begin to suspect him. What do? You give him a query to answer to. I'm talking about the office procedure, because it must go through office procedure, because it isn't an office is manned by an administration. It must have an administration. So the administration is that you issue query to the staff. The staff will answer the query, and if you are not satisfied with the query, for Christ's sake, or if anyone that is involved in that matter will face the query, and then after the query, the management can decide to set up a panel. All right, the management will set up a panel to investigate who stole that handset, and if possible, if no person is found, you surcharge it. You surcharge it from the person's salary, and the person is still working. So you now make everything conducive for the staff to work, and not to put the staff in a tight corner. All right, of taking the staff to a generator house in that matter, and then dehumanize him. You understand me? From the human being whom he is, you dehumanize him to nothing, and then you also took his life. He's criminal in the act. You understand me? The act is criminal, and nobody, I believe, will tolerate this this mess, because it's purely an abomination. An abomination in a site of where an employer does not regard his worker who is doing one thing or the other to make his job or his office functional. He condemned him to death. That's just the meaning. He condemned his employee to death. That's just it. Otherwise, such thing could not happen, because an employer did not leave his house to come and stay and then destroy your this and then go freely. It's not allowed. You know what I mean? Because if to some extent you are not satisfied with his conduct, you have his file. There are people that signed one guarantee or for the other for him. You will call them and tell him what he's doing. If he does not want it, then you allow him to go his way, because you have the right to say, don't work here again, go, than to take his life.
To take his life. Yeah. And then so, there are other measures now. Yes. There are other measures. What about apprehending him? Yes. And so that he will bring out the handset and then tell the workers or the employer where he sold the handset to or where he kept it. Yeah. Then hand him over to security agencies. Exactly. I believe that when they torture him, he's going to speak of this.
Yes, he's going to confess it.
He's going to confess to whatever he has done. Exactly. Then instead of pushing him and committing, this is murder. Yes. This is a murder case. You're torturing him to death, because now I think his own life is also at stake.
Yes, it is. Because the parents, what would the parents of the employees say? What will they say? This is okay. Exactly. They will not hear anything in the first place. They would want you to be arrested. They want you to go through certain things that
No, that is not a punishment.
It's not a punishment.
It's not a punishment.
You have taken
because someone has stolen your handset. Yes. The handset of and that's a guest house,
Yes.
And even if it's a very big hotel, there are measures to really put the boy. And even maybe before the boy stole the handset, they must have known that maybe this guy, has this
He's a suspect in the first place. He's a suspect.
He's a suspect. It has not really been confirmed because nobody has seen him.
That's why I said by the administrative procedure of an office, you set up a panel who will give you all this recommendation to bring in police to arrest him, all those things. It must have a procedure. The procedure, you must follow it by you query him to say it. That I did not. Then you set up the panel. And the panel will make their findings and give you results. I don't know what I mean. The step you are going to follow, they are going to recommend for you or to the company to say this is what we recommend to the company for the company to do. Yeah. And then the company now apply the strategy. You know what I mean? To ensure that it is done according to law and rules of the working environment. This is what happens in the working environment. That's what we are experiencing, and we condemn it in the first place. This thing should not happen, because if it happens to someone that is dear to you, it will hurt you more than what people are hearing. So we condemn it in its entirety. Let the official procedure be followed, so that there will be joy and trust in the working environment, because the working environment is the second home of a man or a woman. All right, that's their second home. After the home that you came out from, from the house, this is where you come, and after there, you are going back. And so if the working environment there's no comfort, there's no joy, there's no the opportunity, there's no privilege, then I don't think people can work, because the working environment is in fact the first thing that an employer considers, all right, to be conducive for workers. I think that's the step to take. We condemn it.
Yeah, we condemn it, and also I think workers, both employees and employers, should also take notes. This is an ugly situation occurring in the workplace, and if you have this natural propensity to take what does not belong to you, please remove it from your blood, because it could land you to either death or something like this. And if you're an employer, you also have to be very, very careful with how you take laws into your hands, because if you take laws into your hands, you are challenging the government, and whatever that comes out of it, you have to face the full wrath of the law. Well, be that as may, we are going to Edo State right now. Let's look at the headlines that says Obaseki appoints 38-year-old engineer as new deputy governor. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki, as we know, has appointed a 38-year-old engineer, Omo Bayo Godwin, as his new deputy. This was coming on the heels of the impeachment of the former deputy governor, Philip Shaibu, by the State House of Assembly on Monday. According to the panel set up for the impeachment proceedings of the former deputy governor, Shaibu was sacked for leaking the state government secrets. Omobayo hails from Akoko, Edo local government area of the state, and was born on July 19, 1986. He holds a bachelor's engineering degree in electrical and electronics engineering and an MSc in public administration from the University of Benin. He is a registered member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria. Before his appointment, he served as a senior maintenance engineer at Dresser Wene West Africa Limited, cutting his professional teeth in the operations in the South area, providing top-notch services and growing the business in the region.